of our analysis on the daily time frame of EURUSD. So we have price just trading to the upside, so we are currently on an uptrend, right? So looking to my left, I can also see this resistance level, right? And then this is the highest the price went to before the closure of the year. So we want to see whether price is going to break this high and continue going up, or we're going to have a retracement to the downside or a reversal, right? So we went down on the lower time frame. Let's go to the 4 hour. On this time frame, it displays what price did, during the last week of the month of December. So if we look here, we can see this is a consolidation, right? So this is exactly where the market opened for the new year. Looking at this line, this is exactly where the market opened for the week of January. So when the market opened, we knew that, okay, we were in a consolidation, and then price could either break to the upside and continue the uptrend, or we can just push to the downside. Looking at this structure, the geoforex students already know what we'll be looking for right here, right? So we have this pattern within pattern, right? This could be a possible double top formation, right? Because we have this first top right here, this could be the second top, and then this will be the neckline. So when price was here, what we were looking for is this pattern within the pattern of the second top, right? So we have this structure, we have our first touch, our second touch, our third touch right here, and then this is a pattern that will just break to the downside, right? Aside that, when the market opened, let me just put this right here, and then we will cut this. So this is exactly where the market opened. And those of you who are already in the academy, you already know how we will be spotting a head and shoulder pattern or a double top pattern, right? So we will go down on the lower time frame. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame, and then this is what we spotted, right? So price took out this high to create a new high, right? So we just waited for this price to just do whatever I wanted to do, and then this is exactly what we saw. So we saw price coming to this level, right? So this was a possible left shoulder, a head, and also a right shoulder. So what we were looking for is just a break of this neckline so that we can get in, right? So we have a double top pattern and also a pattern within a pattern at the second top, right? And then at the second top, we are also seeing a possible head and shoulder pattern. So we have 3 confirmations to take a sell if this breaks to the downside. So right here, we saw this. Let's just fast forward this. Yes, this break, right? So this break gave us an entry reason for us to go short on this pair. So we entered right here with our stop loss here, and then our take profit was the neckline of the double top pattern, right? So going to the 4 hour time frame, this was the neckline, and then that's where we had our take profit. But you can see that price even smashed through, right? So this confirmed our double top pattern. We have our first top, our second top, break of the neckline. So what we were looking for going forward was just a retracement, right? We could have the low pullback, the medium pullback, even the high pullback before the price would just continue to the downside. And then we had this structure, so we were just waiting for selling opportunities because now price has taken out this previous low, right? So let me just take this off, and then we will see how price played out. So we had this pullback, right? So this is our zone. We have this high. As long as price has not broken above this high, this is still a downtrend, and we are just looking for selling opportunities, right? So this is just a pullback, and then we want to wait for the end of the pullback before we go short, right? So let's go forward. Right here, we went on the lower time frame. This is the 1 hour time frame, and this is how I spotted this setup, right? So if you look to our left, you can see this a head and shoulder pattern, right? And mostly when price breaks the head and shoulder pattern, we come to the neckline for a retest, right? So this was a possible retest at the neckline of this head and shoulder. So right here, I was just looking at the price action, right? And then you can see that price went higher, right? This was the first high. Price shot to the downside, we came back to the same level, it shot to the downside. So this was like a consolidation, right? So let's fast forward this and also see something, right? So I confirm that this is a possible triple top. We have the first top, the second top, the third top, and then price is failing to break above this zone, right? So we were just waiting for a selling opportunity. Here we went on the 5 minutes time frame. So let me go on the 5 minutes time frame. Right here, we took a risk entry at this level, right? So this is where we took the risk entry at the 5 minutes time frame. We saw this first top, the second top, the third top, and also at the third top we also spotted a head and shoulder pattern. So we have been seeing head and shoulder pattern throughout, right? This is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder, this is the neckline. We had a break, retest, and then a break to the downside. This was the 5 minutes time frame. So we got in somewhere here with our stop loss here, and then we went on the 15 minutes time frame to spot our take profit, right? So looking at this, we also had this trend line, right? This was a nice flag pattern that we also spotted. Let's go on the 1 hour time frame and then you'll get to see. So this was our impulse. There's a correction, and if this breaks to the downside, we are looking at the 90% area of this pattern, right? So we got in here. Let's see how this also played out. So we had price just shooting down to hit our take profit, right? So this is actually going down to spot patterns within patterns, right? It's just a simple approach to the market. So going back on the 4 hour time frame, this is what I was looking at, right? So we have our double top, the neckline is broken, we have a retest, and then a push to the downside. So I was looking at these levels. This was my first level. That was the 90% of this flag pattern, right? And then this was also my second level, and then I had my final level right here, right? So if price should break below, I'll be looking for price to go all the way to the downside, right? So this was our take profit level. We had our first take profit right here, but at this level on the lower time frame, we also took an entry. So I'll go down on the 15 minutes time frame to show you exactly how we took this trade. So here we had price breaking to the downside, right? And then we know that whenever price impulses, there is always a correction before the continuation, right? We were just targeting this level for our final take profit. So when we were monitoring the chart, we saw this correction phase, right? So let's see, we had this price movement. So we saw this corrective phase, right? So this is a nice correction, and then this is a pattern that can just break to the downside, right? So let me go down on the 5 minutes, and then we will monitor how we took this one. So here we were just creating higher highs and higher lows, right? So let's see how it played out. We had price going up, right? We broke this high, we created a new high, and then this was our entry. So I saw this left shoulder, this a head, this a right shoulder, this is my neckline, right? So once we break this neckline, I'll just be in for a sell. I took this sell right here, stop loss here, and then my take profit level was here. So I'll go back on the 1 hour. This was my take profit. So I spotted this level, right? This could be my first take profit, my second take profit, and then final take profit. So let's see how this also played out on this time frame. So I had price just smashing my take profit, right? So you can see how I'm entering the market. I'm not just going in blindly. I'm seeing what I need to see, right? I'm following rules. This is a systematic approach to the market. Whenever you take a trade, you need to have a reason why you took the trade. And you also need confirmations behind every trade that you take. So here I had price coming to hit my take profit, and then price just pushed to the upside. So this is a very nice start for the year, and these are the trades that we took. Everything was shared in the premium group. Now let's take a look at another pair. On USDJPY, we have a downtrend. It's a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and a new lower low, right? So as long as this high is not broken, this is still a downtrend. So we have our area of value right here. This is our area of value, and then we can see how price is approaching this level, right? We had this impulsive movement, and then price started correcting, right? So this could also be a possible reversal move to the upside if you understand patterns, right? So let's go down on the 4 hour time frame. Here I will adjust my trend line. The trend line is just a guide. It's just like the support and resistance in the area of value. The area of value is just giving us an area where we can be looking for the price action, right? So the trend line is also an area where we are just focusing on what price will do when we get there, right? So this is my recent lower high. As long as this high is not broken, this is still a downtrend. There was no trade taken because this was a lower low, right? So what I was just waiting for is a pullback and then a move to the downside. So I wanted the correction phase to finish, then I'll get in for a sell as long as we are on a downtrend, right? I just want to be trading with the trend. So on the 1 hour time frame, this is what I spotted. If you look here, you can see that this is an impulsive move to the upside. This is an impulsive move to the upside, but this move to the upside wasn't impulsive, right? That's why I'm saying that when we identify a resistance level or we draw a trend line, the main thing that we need to focus on is the price action at that level. How is price getting to that level? Are we getting there impulsively? Are we getting there correctively? What are the candlestick patterns that are playing out there? What are the chart patterns that are playing out? That is what you want to be focusing on, not these lines. Because who drew these lines? I drew it myself. Who drew this? I drew it myself. The market didn't put these lines on the chart. So why am I expecting these lines to be respected, right? These lines are just helping me to identify an area of value. So this is what I spotted when price was getting to this level. My forecast was, it's either we're gonna break this level, retest, and I'll be looking for long, or I will see what price will do, whether we will get a retracement to the downside. So this was a deep pullback to the previous high, right? So I'll cut price and then we will go on the 15 minutes time frame. So let's see the price action on this time frame. So right here I saw price going to the upside very correctively. And then I established my support trend line, right? So this was my support trend line. I saw price getting into the area of value, right? So I also established my resistance trend line. So right here, I was just looking at this as a rising wedge pattern. This is the impulse, this is the correction, and then this is a pattern that can possibly break to the downside, right? So this is what I saw. So here we were in the area of value. So this was my first touch, my second touch, and then I extended it. You can see this is my third touch, right? So I went on the 5 minutes time frame for an entry. This was on Friday. We had the NFP news coming in. I didn't know the result of the news, but looking at this pattern, there's an impulse, there's a correction, and this is a reversal pattern, right? So if you watch the video where I talked about how to trade the news, you know exactly what I was talking about. So with this price action, I was looking for a possible move to the downside. So what I did was I took the reduced risk entry, that is I waited for the break of this pattern. So this is exactly how I took it. I waited for the break of this pattern. This was the closure. I got in here with my stop loss above this level and then my take profit right here. And the news came in. So let's see how it played out. It shot massively to the downside and then hit our take profit, right? So the news just gave the market momentum to move in the right way that it's supposed to move, right? This is just the impulse, this is the correction, and then this is a move to the downside. So before the news, I shared this analysis to the premium group and I predicted exactly what I was expecting, and that's exactly what happened, right? So this was also awesome. So going forward, what can we expect? I'll do a market forecast and then we will see what we can expect for this pair. So let's go on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we are still on a downtrend because this high was not taken out, right? We are still in this lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high structure, right? So I still have this area of value. What price can do is price can possibly reverse at this level, right? So we can have this as a left shoulder. This could be a head, and then price can just come here, create a right shoulder, and then reverse to the upside. If this happens, then we will be looking for buying opportunities to the upside, which will also correlate with this falling wedge pattern. What price can also do is we have this next area of value, that is our support level, right? So price can also break this low to create a new lower low because we are still on a downtrend, right? And if price does that, we'll be looking for this as our first touch, the second touch. What price can do is come here for a possible third touch, right? So we can come here, hit this level as our third touch, which will also correlate with this level, and then we'll be looking for the price action that will play out here, if this is going to reverse to the upside or it's just going to continue going to the downside. So this is what we'll be looking for going forward next week. So this AUDJPY on the daily time frame, this is also a trade that was posted in the group. So on the daily time frame, I just saw this left shoulder, this is my head, this is my right shoulder, and then this was the neckline, right? So the neckline was broken right here. We had a pullback to this neckline. So this is our area of value, right? So this was a very simple trade that we took at the beginning of the week. So I'll go down on the 4-hour time frame. Let's see how the market played out. So this was the beginning of the week. This is exactly where the market opened, right? So the pullback has already happened. Price had already shifted bearish on this uptrend, right? So we had this impulsive move. This was just the pullback, and this is also our bearish flag. So price came to this area of value and then broke out of this flag, right? And if you look carefully, you can also see we have our left shoulder right here. If I go down the 1 hour, it will be very visible, but even on the 4 hour, you can spot it. This is our left shoulder, is our head, and also the right shoulder is the neckline, which got broken, right? So this is where the market opened. We just got in for a sell with our stop loss above the right shoulder and our take profit at the 90% of this pattern, right? So this is where we're looking to take profit, exactly this level. This was a 1:1.2 risk reward ratio, right? So let's see how price played out. Price just came down to hit our take profit, right? So this was a very simple trade that we took at the beginning of the week. It was shared in the group and people were able to capitalize from this trade. So going forward on this pair, what can we also expect? Let me do a market forecast on this pair. So I'll forward it to the current price. This is the current price, right? So if I go back on the daily time frame, this is what we have, right? So on the daily time frame, we can see price is still on a downtrend. It's a lower low, lower high, a new lower low, it's a lower high, and then price has just created this possible double bottom formation, right? So with this pattern, once we break this neckline right here, we'll be looking for a retest and then expect price to push to the upside, right? So this will be something that we'll be looking for if this high gets broken. But if it doesn't, this will still be our area of value where price can possibly reverse to the downside and continue its prior trend to the downside. So now let's take a look at USDCHF. This is a pair that I've been sharing with the team for a very long time, right? This is very interesting and we've been following this pair for a very long time, right? So looking at the current market structure, we have this impulsive move coming from the upside, right? And then we have price just correcting right here, right? So this could be a pattern that will just break to the upside, right? So if I should zoom in, we had the same thing right here. Look at this, we have this impulsive move, we have this corrective phase, and then price went to the upside, right? Correlating that with the support level. So looking at the current market, that is exactly what we have. And what you need to understand is the market repeats itself because human beings do repeat themselves, right? So I established this level, this was my support level, and then I saw price coming to this support level very correctively, right? So here I had my first touch, this is my second touch. I also had this structure, right? So this is a possible falling wedge pattern. So let's go down on the lower time frame to spot how we took this trade. On this time frame, I shared with the team last week that what we could see price doing is price could just come down to create a third touch right here. This is our first touch, this is our second touch. Price could just come here for a third touch before going to the upside. We have this zone that is not taking out, right? So what we can expect is price coming here and then pushing to the upside, or price will just break below, come here for a third touch and then move to the upside. So these were the two scenarios that we were looking for. So if we look here, this is exactly where the market opened for the year, right? So let's see exactly what we spotted at that level. So I'm gonna clear everything and then we just focus on that level, right? So this was my support level, then price didn't break below, right? This was my zone. If we scroll back, we can see that this is a lower low, this is a lower high, price created a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, but price has not broken below to create a new lower low, right? What we could expect is a break of this low and then a continuation to the downside, or price can just create a double bottom pattern or even a triple bottom pattern and then take out this high and then switch to the upside. This was what I was looking for. So I'm just gonna cut this and then we're gonna see my thought process behind this trade when the market opened. Let me put this here, right? So this is where the market opened. Let me just forward it. Yes, exactly. So this is where the market opened and this is how I was looking at the price. So I'll go down on the 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour time frame, what I observed was price was just struggling to break below this level, right? So I established my left shoulder, this as my possible head. And what I was waiting for is for price to create a right shoulder. Once you create a right shoulder, I'm just waiting for the break of this neckline. Once we break the neckline, I know that this is a confirmed head and shoulder pattern, right? So that's exactly what I was looking for buying opportunity. Until then, I'm just staying out of this trade. So let's see how price played out. So I had this level, this was my neckline, right? Let's see. So right here, this candlestick, this breakout candlestick gave me the entry confirmation, right? So I confirmed this as my head and shoulder pattern. This is my left shoulder, this is my head, this is my right shoulder, this is the break of the neckline, right? So once I saw this, I just got in for a buy right here, right, with my stop loss here, and then my first take profit at this high, right? This was my first take profit at these highs. So let's see how price actually played out. We had price just shooting to the upside, right? Just breaking this high, right? So I'll go up on the 4 hour structure. So here I had a confirmed change of character, right? So this is my first bottom, this is my second bottom, this is my third bottom, and at the third bottom I'm also seeing an inverse head and shoulder. So I have multiple confirmations to take this trade, right? So right here I have a change of character. This is my previous high, right? This previous high is broken, right? So currently we are on an uptrend, and what I'm looking for is buying opportunities. So there's a high, and we know that whenever price creates a higher high, there is always a higher low before the break of the previous high to create a new higher high, right? So this was my high. What I was also waiting for is a pullback and then a continuation to the upside. So with a pullback, we can either have a low pullback, medium pullback, or even a deep pullback before price will just go to the upside, right? So here I was out of the trade. I'm just waiting to spot the pullback, and then I'll get into the trade, right? So I saw price just doing this. Price came down massively, right? So this was just the pullback. As long as this low is not taken out, this is still the pullback. So I got on the 1 hour time frame and I spotted this price action, right? So here we were still corrective. This was still a lower low, lower high structure. This is a lower low, lower high. This is a new lower low, right? There's a possible lower high. Price could just come here to create a new lower low, maybe a reversal pattern, and then we will take the buy to the upside, right? But this is what happened. So here price didn't break below. Price came here to retest the head and shoulder pattern, right? So this was the head and shoulder pattern. Price broke above, came back to retest the neckline, gave us a double bottom formation right here, right? So this was a double bottom formation. Just the break of the double bottom, we were in the trade. We took this trade right here with our stop loss somewhere here, and then our take profit at this level, right? So this was like 1.1%, right? So let's see how this also played out. We saw price just going to the upside, right? And at this level, I saw this correction, right? So I was already in the trade, and then what we did was we scaled up, which means we added another trade. So let's see how this also played out. We saw this correction phase. I'm gonna take this out, right? This was very corrective. I'll go down the 15 minutes time frame, and then we'll also see how this played out. So this was the correction phase. Just knowing the impulse and correction, this is a nice pattern that will just break to the upside. So we just waited for the break of this structure. So once we saw the break, we got in with a stop loss at this level, and then our take profit was still at the previous high, right? So this was our take profit. Let's also see how this played out. We had price just going gradually, but finally hitting our take profit. So we opened two positions with the same target. The first one was here, and then the second one was also here.